Yeah. Do you also plan on like starting something like your father did, like a Gurukulam or an ashram? And so it could be a completely different version of what. Um,
Isha's getting to the hot questions now.
no, ask it. So no, but like my question basically is, if you were to start a Gurukulam or an or anything, something of that sort for kids, like something that we got while growing up, if you want to give that to today's kids or tomorrow's kids, how would it be? Like, and
Okay.
what are the mistakes your father did that you wouldn't repeat?
So I wouldn't call them mistakes. I would call them just events that happened. We can't go back into the past and course correct, obviously. So there's no point in sulking about the past. One interesting point that just came to my mind when you shared this question was that I wouldn't start a Gurukulam. Okay, I wouldn't start a school. And I'm very particular about the terminologies also that I use for a school vis-a-vis a Gurukulam or an institution. That's because our language has lots of power.
Yeah.
And when I was a child admitted in our schools, being a child, I wouldn't understand what quality control is, what proper management is. We were just children.
Yeah.
And maybe I had a little more exposure because of the privileged position or status that I had in the institute, but I wouldn't understand things. But I would always hear conversations between mum and dad, and mum would say that, oh, why don't we make our schools an IB board? Why doesn't everyone have attached bathrooms? Why do girls, why do girls or guys need to walk all the way 200-300 meters down the hill to use the washrooms? So these were things that my mum would always discuss, not question. And then eventually that's what happened, is that in the kutir areas everyone got bathrooms because of mum's insistence that no, there must be a bathroom. पागल हो क्या, रात को 2 बजे कैसे चल के जाएगा कोई? And see, let me be very practical. India is still a very what's the correct word? It's not underdeveloped. It's a very male-centric country. Okay. It's still a very male-centric country, patriarchal country. Thank you for the word. It slipped out of my mind. So, although people glorify my father to whatever extent, he was still a patriarch in the family or in the organization, and nothing moved without his approval. And then even the management of the ashram, I wouldn't want to point out names to anyone, but if you know, you know, they're also patriarchs. And so problems that a woman faces, like women are on their menstrual cycles, there are so many issues that women face. And this was something that only my mum could very boldly tell my dad, that these are the issues. How can you expect me, if we are on our periods, how do you expect us to walk all the way up 200-300 meters? So it's like talking sense into people. And this was also one of the things that was a repeated theme that I hear from a lot of people, that there were SSY teachers, couples, husband and wife, and they would work voluntarily, and they would have very small allowances, and every expense would either be approved or rejected. So for quite a bit of time, menstrual pads were not approved in the budgets, like for women who are menstruating and full-time teachers whose husbands are working for the organization. The menstrual pads or hygiene products were never given money for. And so these are very ugly sides of SSY. And so when my dad got married, only then he could understand that, oh yeah, menstrual pads and menstrual hygiene is very much needed. So that women energy coming into things is very important. And coming back, I mean, I drifted to a completely different topic, but coming back to your question about whether I would start a institute, I may start an institute in the future, but it would look like a weekend school, or maybe something
But
that
who wants to go to a weekend school?
it's not like a school, it's like an adventure camp, you can call it. You can call it an adventure camp.
Not weekend school.
You can be the head of branding.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So a weekend school or an evening school inside the cities where you can upgrade students and upgrade people, because I believe that our ashrams are 40-50 kilometers away from the cities.
True.
And it's I mean, you have the internet, but it's still isolated. It's a bubble. So, students, if you're enrolled in the ashram schools, there may not be complete exposure and complete quality exposure as needed in general society. So, I would rather let students go to CBSE schools, ICSE schools, state board schools, and then give them the upscaling that is needed in an evening scenario or over the weekends. See, because this is your experience as our shared experience that even we studied in CBSE. Yeah, and so RCRT was the only part which was hatke in our education system. And other than that, we had classes every day. And maybe thoda idhar udhar hai, but we were still following CBSE.
But we had that adventure also in the being in a residential school. That element जो adventure वाला है एक ही डॉम में मतलब वो तो था ही कि 10 लोग रह रहे हैं और वो मतलब the whole day is a routine.
Yeah.
Then evenings there is gratitude time. There's something or the other happening.
But this is happening in an isolated environment.
Yeah, true.
I mean, the success of the program or whatever institution is there, it should be able to fit into average life.
Yes.
So if I'm in a city, Pune, Bangalore, Bombay, Delhi, any cities that you're in, you should have these upscaling centers within the cities where you get quality upscaling because the academics is taken care of by the schools. So you can completely focus on skill set development. That is what I believe. And there are a lot of critics of the education system ki ye acha nahi hai, wo acha nahi hai. We have come to a point where we are able to educate so many people, right? Whether it's in state boards or CBSE or coming from a country which was 19% literate to somewhere that we are, I don't know the exact statistics, but 70% today. So that's a great job done that we've done. Could we do better? Yes, we could do better. But have we done really bad? No, we haven't. So instead of, creating uncomfortable situations where you're isolated and then after your 10th, you're coming back, you need 6-7 months to fit into society again. Because this was my experience.
And children don't end up making a lot of friends after they go back.
Yeah.
Because I've seen with our classmates, our seniors and juniors.
Well, so I can be very honest. I was with you guys in CBSE and then 11th I chose to go into IB. And I was the weird chick out. I was a weird chicken in the whole batch because
you were from CBSE?
No, not because I was from CBSE. There were a lot of people from state board, CBSE, etc. But the mentality that school going students have or the dynamics or how to behave, how to not behave. So, I was this innocent guy who went into an IB school and it took me about 6-7 months to settle into that IB system and structure. But it was fun for me. Yes, RCRT did help me in many ways, but there could have been much more and better that the school could have done.
Okay.
And in fact, I wouldn't even blame my father for any of this because my father had great visions. He delegated it to a couple of people who then created a comforting system.
Yeah.
So let's say in the Gurukul, what I would have also done was maybe outsource teaching to someone and just focus completely on upscaling students. I remember we only had, I think, Magic of Gratitude and 1 or 2 programs towards the starting of the 10th grade. And then we had those Leah messages, which were crazy. That's a different interview altogether. And so there used to be that gratitude time and activities. But I think in that nascent age where students can be molded in a much better way, more efforts could have been put into in various aspects. I mean, I remember Soumya's dad had tried giving us financial literacy.
Oh God. मैं हर lecture में सोती थी.
But that was something very important.
Very important. That's what I realized after.
It could have been made way more fun.
Yeah.
And I think I believe in learning through practice. So I don't know where exactly. Yeah, I got this concept from the CEO or director of Indus International School. I was there for a summit when he was there in Pune, Dr. Ray. So he talked about linking all academic and non-academic disciplines and more focusing towards problem solving. So, for instance, there's a polluted lake. Okay. and there's a factory besides it. Now this can be a project for the students, and you can be in groups and just figure out what's the best way, what's the political implications, environmental implications, social implications, how to clean up the lake. This is just an example that I'm giving you. It can be any issue. So this is how you're able to start thinking critically and have a little hands-on experience of how and where your thinking should go towards.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's what I talk about. That's what I mean when I talk about upskilling and problem solving.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
क्या बोलना है और पता?
बस हो गया, गर्मी हो गया मुझे.
AC चल रहा है फिर भी गर्मी हो रही है.
पसीना आ रहा है मुझे for some reason. Anyway, it was amazing speaking with you, Siddhant. So we're gonna end the conversation right here.
Okay.
Are you guys watch?
See you guys. Siddhant is making a comeback, so wait to see more.
Interesting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we see you flourish. We see you making flower syrups.
Making lots of money.
Yeah.
Paisa.
I'm giving it to me.